We just told Shanice to try again.
All good.
Jason's in.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. I think you're disappearing. Okay, we ready?
That worked. Everything good?
Yes. I'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Thank you. And we take roll call.
Good evening, everyone. Ann Catrillo,
Here.
Rebecca Bear,
Here.
Jason Goldstrom,
Present.
David Kulak.
Present.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the agenda for September 9th, 2024, with members of the committee reserving the right to add or adjust the agenda and take further action in the district's best interest.
So moved.
All in
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the August 1st, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Our items for discussion. We're going to take a look first at the engineering course, and just for everyone to know, we're then going to move to our financial recommendations because a couple of the board members will have to leave earlier, and I don't want to miss that because we need to have a quorum. Okay, so for now, I would like to turn our attention to Mr. Scott and Ms. Francois for telling us about their proposed high school engineering class.
Thank you very much for the time and opportunity to be here today. My name is David Scott, I teach here at the South High School for a number of years.
Hi, I'm Maria Francois, and I teach at the East Stroudsburg North Campus, and I've been a science teacher there for about 16 years.
Thank you. And once again, we overall just love the support that we have for the board, administration, and always pursuing students' best interests. And that's what really pushed us to make this thing happen today and why we're here. So right now we're trying to present the course description for a course called Intro to Engineering. So this course is designed to provide a hands-on opportunity for students to explore STEM fields and develop essential skills for success in future careers. We find neighboring school districts have similar courses and things like that, and it kind of happens to be a void that here at East Stroudsburg Area School District, we don't have a pre-engineering course, something like this. One big thing in the motivation for this is that overall employment in architecture and engineering is projected to grow way faster than the average for all other occupations from 2023 to 2023 to 2033. About 190,000 openings are projected each year. These occupations due to employment growth and need to replace workers who leave occupations permanently. So if you talk to, we've had discussions with local engineering firms, local universities, and these things, and they're all citing difficulties to find engineers. And you say to yourself, we've got kids that want to do engineering and think that they know what it is, but sometimes they're not even pursuing that until they see it in college and not even really seeing it. So we want to increase awareness for engineering and the ideas that go along with it. You want to talk about the problem solving?
Yeah, sure. One of the other benefits of the Introduction to Engineering course would be that it would have a lot of problem-based learning in it. And the problem-based learning, there's a lot of research and a lot of studies that are happening for 20 years, 30 years back, that this is a very effective method of teaching students to teach them challenges, to teach them critical thinking skills, to have innovative type solutions, where most of us probably in this room are very used to like a teacher-centered learning. Research and studies, again, have kind of shown that that's not really how kids are learning. And this Intro to Engineering class would allow for that problem-based learning, hands-on learning, to foster and develop valuable skills such as problem solving, teamwork, and communication, so that, yes, this course may end up teaching that they do want to be in engineering. Maybe they don't want to be an engineer, but it did teach them at least some problem-based learning skills that they will need in most careers once they graduate.
And to piggyback what Maria just said, that so much of that problem solving stuff, you know, you talk to employers and they focus on the soft skills of problem solving, identifying problems ahead of us, unique, unorthodox solutions to unique ideas. And in a course like this, we can have students generate the problems that they're solving. So that's what we do every day life. You know, if something's broken, do I really want to fix this? Well, you have that choice. As a student, as an engineer, okay, I'm choosing this idea, I'm choosing this solution, and work to develop that path. On the handout that we have in front of you, it describes a bit about the course availability. It looks unorthodox when you see it described. We want it as a half credit course. You say, that sounds, you know, we're really passionate about this idea. Why want it to be a full credit course? One, it would not be competing with their core sciences, which we don't want them to do. We still want students to have a great science background, but we also find that some students don't have, particularly because of block scheduling, a course of their interest or a pathway that would be half credit to fill in that. So lots of students are falling into study hall or other things, and a half credit course like that would fit and become greater availability. And to have that availability, we're saying grades 9 through 12. On the hand sheet, on the sheet, we said CP honors level, that's up to recommendations of the board and those things, what that falls into and what that means. But ultimately having students of all grade levels, all abilities, coming up with ideas and trying to test them to become true engineers. So in what our real proposal is ultimately to have the course description published in the program of studies. And with that, we hope the wording would be, this course will focus on problem solving skills using a design development process that integrates application science into pre-engineering activities for students. Students will learn and apply design practices, acquire strong teamwork organizations, communication proficiency, and develop organizational critical thinking and problem solving skills. Fundamentals of multiple fields of engineering will be used throughout the course. If you look at that, like, you know, what does that mean? Groups of civil engineers, groups of mechanical engineers, groups of electrical engineers. What means, like, they're electrical engineers, they're working on circuits. Civil, they're working on bridges, and rotating those through units. Or if it works, having multiple fields of engineering at the same thing, and we got students rotating between groups. And then
Oh, yes. So what we would propose as a implementation timeline is right now we are in September and we are just kind of presenting the course description, the approval, so we can have some discussion and see what the overall course description would look like in our program of studies. October, we would like to start to gather some different resources as far as like curriculum development. What kind of budget are we going to have? What kind of resources do we need? What kind of human resources would we need? And then in November, we would also like to distribute a student survey. So this was like a DJ and I thinking like this is something that students would like to do. Are we right? Like, we want to put out a survey to students. Is this something that you're interested in taking? So kind of put that out there. To get their feedback and maybe a little bit, okay, you are interested, what would you like the course to look like? How would you like the course to be designed? And then we have the fall schedule opens, then throughout that time, really from September until January, we'd be creating a curriculum for what we would want, again, using the student input, using parent input, all the different stakeholders input to see like, what would this course look like? So we have that initial curriculum presentation in January. March, we're looking at the spring student schedules. If this were to get approved and pushed forward, April and May would be ordering materials and resources, examining how many students would be interested. And then in the summer, the teachers that would be teaching this class could hopefully attend an engineering educational professional development so that we are like the best educators to go out and deliver this information. So, and then maybe September, the course begins.
And we'll feel free to include that
Yeah.
information and disseminate to you guys, whatever makes sense. But yeah, this is something we're both passionate about, as you can hear our voices. This is something that we're not just doing, like, I love what I'm teaching. I'm not proposing an idea, and I know Maria, you feel the same way. Like, we love what we're teaching. We're not doing this to say, I'm gonna stop teaching this. If it fits in the schedule and say, oh, it'd be more appropriate for another staff member or whatever, we're here to help. This is not to avoid the courses that we have. This is in addition to allow another pathway to have students pursue a field of engineering, or better yet, leave East Stroudsburg Area School District more a better, well-rounded thinker and learner. So.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. At first, I thought, oh, and half credit course, I thought the same thing, but really listening to you, I think it's smart, especially offering it 9 through 12, because as you get students involved in it, you'll find out also, as you said, like the different areas of engineering, and those could then later, if we decide, or you decide it's, a worthwhile venture to create additional pathway, for engineering, and then you would have the courses, for the different ones. I can already, like, I can kind of see the vision, moving forward. So I think that's, it's really the best place to start. The only thing I would say is if you find, and I would continue to look for, the educational professional development piece, if there are things that are being offered during the school year,
Yes.
you never know, they may not, they may be now, they might not happen in the summer. I wouldn't just hold yourselves to the summer. If you, see something that's viable, I would definitely, bring it to Dr. Pigrado's attention. Because that may also help you in terms of, thinking about other areas that you might want to incorporate into the course itself. Student survey, I think, is a great idea. I mean, if you could do that sooner than November, I might even say, to do that, because that will probably help to spur what, direction you may want to take as well, depending on what the interest is of the students. But I think it's a great idea, and thank you for bringing it to us. And as you've said, and I totally agree, even if we didn't get an engineering student out of it, nothing is lost because of the problem solving skills and other critical thinking skills that they will gain, just by being part of the course. So thanks very much. I don't know if any other
I was just
board
gonna
members want to
say,
comment.
I think it's great to just pique the interest in kids, and maybe they never thought about engineering. Maybe it wasn't something that was top of mind for them. Maybe they never knew it was as exciting as it is, or that there's so many aspects of engineering: civil, environmental, electrical, mechanical, aeronautical. There's so many different types of engineering that a lot of kids don't even realize are out there. They just think engineering, oh, whatever, and don't even realize what it is. So I think that's phenomenal. And I'll say it again, I wish we had it with my son here, because he's a third-year engineering student, but classes like CAD that we have at North and South also really helped him in his engineering. It was just a foundation, which totally helps him in his engineering classes now. So any more tools that we can give the students to make them more successful, to me, is a great idea.
And you brought a great thing about involving stakeholders in this. So like, if you're listening to this broadcast or whatever, feel free, David, Scott, Maria Franco, to reach out and share companies or engineers, because we'll be leaning on the community for this as well.
Okay.
Excellent.
I
Thank
definitely
you.
will.
Any other comments from our board members online? Okay. All right, well then, thank you very much. Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for being here, guys. And just a note to board members who are listening, this is the year that science is writing its curriculum. And as you know, it is, and in fact, that's when we do entertain requests like this, because when requests like this are done out of cycle, it then becomes difficult to keep that on the normal, keep track of it. So thank you, perfect timing. Thanks you for collaborating with your peers too for writing the curriculum this year. It's a big project.
Sure.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Thanks so much. Okay, and as mentioned before, we're going to move to the advisory recommendations for consideration by the Finance Committee and the Board of Education. So the first one for this evening is a motion to recommend for approval the Acadians renewal K through 6 for the 24-25 school year in the amount of $23,727.60. This program is fully funded by the ESSER 3 grant. All in favor?
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
Any discussion
Aye.
at first? Okay.
We're good.
Aye, we're all good. All right.
Aye.
And thank you, Jason.
Sorry.
The second one is a motion to recommend for approval the purchase of robotic items for intermediate electives in the amount of $8,471.06. This program is fully funded from the 24-25 curriculum and instruction budget.
So move.
Second.
Okay, discussion?
What intermediate electives are we talking about, just out of curiosity?
They are the seventh grade robotics electives that we offer for seventh grade.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. And we'll go back. Those were the only two. I just wanted to make sure we had everyone on board for that. Now we'll go back to the items for discussion. And we are up to our B Alliance with Ms. Laurie, please.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all. Can you hear me?
Yes,
we
Yes.
can.
All right. I'm so glad to be able to see you all. I am here virtually because I'm at a meeting of my own with our B Alliance here. So I thought that would be amazing for you all to see some of our membership here. So I'm going to turn my computer around so we can all say hello. I'm going to spin it around real quickly. Everybody say hello to the education
Hello, everyone.
resources people.
Nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Right back around to me. So I'm excited today. I did want to share, it's okay, don't worry about it. I was asking for sharing capabilities to share our newsletter, but that's okay. I'm just going to do the regular update that I have for this afternoon, and then maybe I'll share it. It is our fall newsletter, so it will be done quarterly, so I can share it at the October meeting if that's okay.
That's fine. I did receive it, the board members. I
did
did
get it as
receive
well.
it as
Good.
well. So thank
Okay, I'm glad. Did you take a look
Yeah.
at it? Did you
I
enjoy it?
did, excellent. I'll be
Great.
contacting you to join.
I'm sorry.
I said I will be contacting you to join the,
Oh, I'm glad. I actually just closed out something. Give me 1 second. As I'm on my computer with 80 tabs open, please excuse me. All right, so this month we have, of course, our monthly observances of Labor Day. We have September 11th, the National Day of Service and Remembrance. It is also the Ethiopian New Year on September 11th. October 15th is National Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. The theme, for this year is Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together. We also have a Mawlid al-Nabi on September 15th and 16th, which is the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. On September 16th, it is Mexican Independence Day. September 17th is Constitution Day. September 27th is Native American Day. And September 22nd is the autumnal equinox. Our B Alliance attended the book signing on September 5th, 2024 at the Hughes Library with Dr. Damari Bonilla, who will also be the person that was invited for our coffee chat. We saw Debbie Kulick there. It was nice to see her there. And so that was an excellent and wonderful experience. It was a book signing, and she talked about her new book, which is Modern Marinismo. And that was a great experience for all of us to be able to share that with her. And as I said, she will also be our headliner for our coffee chat on the 16th at 10 o'clock. On September 5th, there was the newsletter and links that were shared out with our school staff. And our updates for this year, we do have some workshop schedules, that are being created and prepared for our after-school PDs. Our topics will include teacher mindset and expectations, implicit bias, uncomfortable conversations and speaking up, and the power of language. Our competencies, the CRSE competencies, explanation and implementation. Those also will be offered as well, and this will be done in a hybrid format. I'm also looking to include our monthly religious observances will be shared out monthly to keep our staff abreast of needs within our communities of our students and staff.
thank you. I think it's great to put them out there ahead of time, because especially now that our meeting is the first Thursday of the month, it kind of will, set the agenda, so to speak, for everyone to be aware of what's going on. So the newsletter was excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that. Also.
Oh, thank you so much. So yes, look forward to that, sending those out and staff being able to see our students' needs and be able to meet them as well as our staff as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to do this virtually. And I hope you have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, wish I were there. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Heather. We miss you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next on our agenda are our shout outs. Dr. Bradley and Dr. Piccarato.
Thank you. From the elementary lens, I wanted to give a shout out to our summer steamer coordinators and Angela Byrne, who made all the magic happen behind the scenes for funding, postings, staffing, monitoring staffing up until the very beginning of the programs to try to add additional staff where needed. We're so grateful for all of those folks. We had the luxury this year of Bushkill Elementary School and Smithfield Elementary School having their summer programs at their buildings for the first time in several years due to some various maintenance projects that have occurred over the past few summers. Middle Smithfield Elementary and Rusk Elementary were hosted at JTL, and we want to thank Mr. Lenhart for accommodating them. And ESC and JM Hill were housed here at High School South, and a special thanks to Mr. Triola and his team for accommodating them as well. Everything went off without a hitch, and even though you might imagine little kindergartners in middle school and high school chairs, everything worked out great, and they really enjoyed the chance to be in our big kid schools. So that's my shout out to those folks. Thank you.
And my shout out also involves Angela Byrne, somebody who just really is irreplaceable in our district.
Somebody's
Sorry,
email.
someone's email's on the screen and you just want to put it down, like, I don't know if it's confidential information being broadcast on YouTube.
Yeah, why?
Okay, thank you.
Super, thank you. So again, Angela Byrne, pretty indispensable. We often hear of her after she's funded things, but one of the other things that she does is she regularly connects people with different grant opportunities, whether or not we get it. So my shout out tonight is to Leanne Modzinski and Kelsey Nagy, teachers at North, High School North. At South, we already have a good established hydroponics program, but we don't have one at North. And so Leanne and Kelsey have taken the grant that Angela sent to them, sent to the whole school. And they sat with me, they sat with Mr. Stokes at High School North to say, how would we incorporate this in our curriculum? Can we do this in a way that we could share this with middle school also and have it be something that is portable so different teachers can have it in their classroom? So they have, with our blessing, applied for a grant to get a hydroponics system that would be portable and that would be smaller at first with the intent to hopefully grow it, meeting all sorts of needs. If you know anything about the hydroponics, it's not just a curriculum and a hands-on learning for students, but it can eventually produce fruits and vegetables for our cafeteria program, for example, or for local food kitchens and things like that. So it was fun to sit at the table and watch those two women dream about how big it could be. But my shout out to them is for starting this process on their own and saying this is something that we think is really good for students at High School North.
Miss Maggie's been talking about that for 4 years now. That teacher at North, so I'm glad to see it's kindly come to fruition for her and Miss Mazinski, because they both have been talking about that since I've known them, since they taught at North, and they've both been there about 4 years. That's something they've been dreaming about. So super excited for them.
Me too, and I'm crossing our fingers that the grant application is accepted and that we'll be awarded this money.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks to them as well. Thank you for all the shout outs and for all the good work that our teachers are doing, and really a shout out and a thank you to everyone for the great beginning of the school year. It's so well deserved, for sure. Our teachers and our staff are amazing. So thank you. All right. And with that in mind, we're going to meet another amazing educator now, and Jackie Doyle, and she's going to let us know about Friday Night Lights event.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak about our event that will be happening on September 20th from 5:30 to 7 at the High School South Stadium. A few of the elementary reading specialists, myself included, and a few of the MTSS people had the opportunity to go to a school improvement conference in Pittsburgh back in February. And we were allotted the time to see a parent and family engagement activity presentation. And this one school district had all of their kids come down to their football field while their football team was at an away game, and, excite them by bringing literacy and combining it with the field. So the kids thought it was this really great thing to be on the football field, on a Friday night. So we kind of brought this back and we formed a committee. We had a specialist from each building. We also had our MTSS department chair, and we put our heads together and put this event together. The premise behind it is we want to get families involved in our community. We're going to have 6 tables set up, one from each building, one from each elementary building, and we're going to set up some literacy activities and crafts. We're going to invite some of the high school North and South honor students, the Honor Society students, to come and help us run some physical activities on the field, potentially do some face painting for the kids. We're encouraging families to bring a blanket down to the stadium to sit and relax and enjoy some pizza. That, of course, the amazing Angela Byrne was also key in getting some of the funding for that. She really is everywhere and doing wonderful things to help us. We're going to provide pizza for families, some door prizes. We're going to do some book giveaways. We're going to have some snacks and a selfie station. We have invited the Monroe County Bookmobile to our event. I believe we're also having a fire truck come from East Stroudsburg because we're on the cusp of Fire Prevention Month. So we wanted to give the kids a chance to see a fire truck up close. And we're working on getting an ambulance to come too. So, like I said, the families are encouraged to bring blankets, to become comfortable, to have a nice evening down on the field. Mr. Triolo has been a tremendous help. We could not have done this without him. He's been very accommodating and wonderful to work with. We will be finalizing our details this week to get everything set up and in place. We appreciate Dr. Bradley and Mrs. Byrne for all of their support. And, we just come back from a conference and we're like, we want to do this. And she's like, yes, do it. So, we love that because we're looking for fresh things. It's really hard to get parents to come in. Like today, I'll just give an example. Resica had their Title I parent meeting. We had 26 RSVPs, which we were thrilled about. We had 10 people who came, which is pretty good considering mostly it's 4 or 5. But we're just trying to find new and fresh ways to get families involved. And we thought, oh, we've never been on the football field. We've ordered matching shirts, so they'll know who to contact from each building. There's going to be a flyer posted tomorrow. We just wanted to run it by your committee first to give you some information. And we would invite all of you to come and attend our Friday night Under the Lights event. And I have to thank my committee that's been working. It was myself at Resica. There was Lauren Miller up at Bushkill, Tasha Niznik at Middle Smithfield, Catherine Cutteroff at JM Hill, Wanda McKelvin at ESC, and Stacy Breskinstein at Smithfield Elementary, and Mary Kapulish from ESC. And of course, Dr. Bradley was in there, and so was Mrs. Byrne. So I need to thank all of them for all their tireless work and meeting over the summer to kind of put this together. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. So, like I said, we invite you to come. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And that's really
I
just
think
something new.
Deb Kulik has a question for you.
Actually, I have send me the information, I'll get you your ambulance.
Okay.
Perfect.
I
figured that
Thank
would
you.
help. I was hoping that when I saw your hand. Yeah.
I am listening.
Good job. Good job.
So thank you.
And Ms.
Thank
Sawyer,
you.
if it's a success, maybe we can do one up at the North Campus as well.
Yeah, so we had talked about that. We have the Cavalier coming, but I think North might have a game. I'm not 100%.
I know there's a soccer game that night because my daughter has a home game on the field on the 20th.
So we're hoping that, maybe next year we can do it up north and kind of flip flop back and forth. That way it's a little more accessible for the people up north. So, but yeah, thank you for that suggestion. That wasn't something that was lost on us. We were
And I'm
just
sure the Timberwolf would come down if you asked some, Mr. Brenneman to bring the Timberwolf down to the South Campus.
Okay. I think Lauren Miller was on emailing him back and forth about that because she took care of the Cavalier for South. So I think I'll have to get in touch with her and ask her about the Timberwolf.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Jackie, for spearheading that and putting it all together. I hope to be there that evening.
Great. We look
but
forward to
I'm-
seeing you, and we're hoping it's a huge success and we get families excited about reading and sports and bringing everybody together. And we thought the high school kids would be nice because the younger kids might see a sibling or a cousin or, you
Mhm.
know, be like, "Oh, I saw him on the field," you know? So,
And I'm
So-
sure if you invited the North football team, they'd come down as well.
okay. They don't have a game that Friday night?
No, soccer does, I believe.
Okay.
Their game is on Thursday, I think.
Okay. Then I will be on that. So
Thanks.
thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
for your time, everyone. Have a great night.
You
Thank
too,
you.
Thank
Jackie.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next presentation is on AI. Mr. Barash, Martin, and Westcott.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for inviting us to be present. I know we had some discussions this summer. As you know, we got the initial AI policy to the policy committee. There's still going to be work to do on that, I think, on a semi-annual basis. But I did ask Joe and Sean to come and just basically give you an overview of what was done last year from the professional development lens that was offered to teachers from AI, kind of what we're doing, quick little snapshot and kind of what's planned for this year.
Okay, sounds great.
All right?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So just so everyone knows who I am, I'm Sean Westcott, elementary technology coach, work in all 6 buildings, K-5.
And I am Joe Martin. I am the secondary instructional technology coach, one of the secondary instructional technology coaches and Diana Allison is my colleague, and we work in 6th through 12th grade.
Yeah.
Very good. We can begin?
Yeah.
All right. So I have to say, from Sean's perspective, my perspective, and Maureen, who is the elementary coach with Sean, and Diana Allison, we are very happy to be here tonight. This is having technology, curriculum, and the school board in the same room to discuss AI and figure out the direction we plan on going is something that we've all dreamed about for the last year. So here we go. So before we begin, I thought we would give you a little story of where we were last year and what we did to sort of meet the needs of our teachers using AI. But before we begin, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. We wanted to make sure that we address all the benefits and risks that are associated with the use of artificial intelligence within the school district and using it with students. The first one specifically are the potential benefits, content development, and differentiating instruction. I'm not sure if people are familiar with AI, but it is a very powerful tool for teachers to use to create content and also to differentiate instruction. There are a bunch of different applications that are available to teachers. There are paid versions and they have free versions. Most of our teachers have been using 2 free versions during the course of the last school year. Okay. Assessment design, again, if you're not familiar with it, assessments and creating assessments can be very challenging for teachers, especially when you want to differentiate assessment design for students. So that is a great strength for us. It can be used for tutoring and personalized learning, aiding collaboration and creativity. And lastly, every teacher's worst nightmare, I truly believe, it's just all those administrative tasks that we have to do, or how we have to word an email, create a letter of recommendation for a student or something like that. It relieves all those, that cognitive load, if you will, using the educational term. The potential risk that we really took into consideration is the fact that AI is a large language learning model, and you might be perpetuating societal biases. So we were very cognizant of making sure and driving that point home last year during all of our professional development sessions. We also reinforced to teachers that anything that we were showing them last year was generative AI specifically for teacher use, and students should not be using artificial intelligence last year in the classroom for a number of reasons. But the first one is data privacy, because we don't know where those files, that data is actually stored on a lot of these free versions that some teachers were jumping on board with. So we really tried to hit home and drive home that it was data privacy specifically and student data that we were really cognizant of everybody being mindful of that. The other thing, a lot of people think it's going to diminish student and teacher accountability. And I know a lot of people out there in the real world will think that teachers will just use this to create content and not really be mindful of anything that they're creating. And we reinforce that with teachers, that everything you create should be aligned to one, your curriculum, and your students' needs. Plagiarism, I'm not going to say that because that's always going to be there. And lastly, the most important thing that I think is any good teacher, just the over-reliance and loss of creativity, academic integrity, and creativity. So last year, those are the things that we took into consideration when we planned professional development.
I think one of the things really important next to plagiarism, you said it in the last one, is academic integrity, because we really have to have more of a discussion, on that. I mean, I know I did in my classroom when I was there, but it's now, I think with AI, it's even more imperative that we do that, because it's not just about copying something. You know what I mean?
Correct.
There's so much more to it with AI. So I mean, I think that's something we'll even talk about with policy. When we go to revamp policy, particularly our plagiarism one. The wording I think is really important for that.
Absolutely.
But so thank you for
Sure.
mentioning that.
And again, we focus just using from the teacher perspective of using generative AI. Again, we discourage teachers from having students to use it because of sharing personally identifiable information with those AI bots or large language learning models, because if you're not familiar with that, you type something into an AI tool and that information does get stored in their language model. So it's just being mindful of using student ID numbers as an example when you're trying to create something, using a student's first and last name or using a group of students' names and with identifiable information. So we really reinforce that throughout the whole course of last year. And now we can move on. So here we go. This is what we did in the fall of last year. We decided to scaffold our AI professional development because it was relatively so new. And really last year is the beginning of last school year is when every school district, for some reason, just began to hear about artificial intelligence the summer of 2023. We came back to school and there it was. So we decided to take a more proactive approach as reactive and just sharing information with teachers. So we focused on, in the fall, embedded AI features that were already embedded within our current district applications that we purchased, such as Cami, Screencastify, Edpuzzle, and those other tools. Because last year they, again, jumped on the AI bandwagon and we had a lot of those tools. So we focused on that. Last year, we also focused on using Google Gemini because as we are a Google Google school district. So we focused on using that generative. Last year it was Bard. They've evolved into Google Gemini. So teachers have access to that this year as well. And then we tried and emphasized, we spent time creating the perfect generative AI prompt and prompt creation. So we did that both at the elementary level several times, and we also did that at the secondary. We spent an inordinate amount of time with teachers creating the perfect prompt and going back to try that prompt again and just prompt and prompt and prompt to see what they get.
I'd love to see that.
Oh, yeah, it was interesting, really. And again, this is the one thing, these sessions were optional. We had a great turnout and we can show you those numbers at the end of the presentation. Again, the fall was just a quick overview because we really wanted to sit back and just see where it evolved, but we wanted to sort of afford our teachers the opportunity to explore those AI features that we currently have at their disposal.
Yep. So Maureen and I went around to all the elementary schools. We had something called Tech and Treat for October. And so we went in and just briefly in the morning, we offered just a little menu of things. And one of them on there at that time was Google Bard, which is now Google Gemini. And a lot of people hadn't even heard of it at the elementary level yet. And so we were kind of their first dose and first introduction to that. So we just gave them a little snapshot. It was really quick, 5 minutes. Here's what it is. Here's how you type a prompt in. Here's what you can get out of it. You know, it might help you write an email today to a parent, you know, put in what you want and see what comes out. And we always tell them that, use your judgment, read it, use maybe 80% of that and 20% of what you want to put in it. So that's how we kind of introduced it to our elementary teachers. But like Joe said, it was optional. We didn't get to everybody.
So when we are also looking at the spring, we also focused on two of the more teacher-friendly, magicschool.ai, and we also looked at School AI. We also touched upon English teachers love brisk education. So I'm just putting it out there because I'm sure somebody will tell me tomorrow that I failed to mention that. So I'm just mentioning it now. So it really is. Yeah, it really is. Exactly. It really is a powerful tool that can be embedded directly into the Chrome browser for teachers and students to use. But right now we are just using the free version for teachers. Again, we also use some of the AI best practices that you see up there by Patan, AI Toolkit, COSIN, and those types of things as well. We have a link there and we will share that link at the end. In the spring, we decided to do our secondary, they did their elementary, but then we also once a month decided to do a K through 12 hot topics in public education, throughout the spring semester. And it was really beneficial because it's one of those rare times as a secondary teacher that we get to see the secondary teachers working collaboratively in breakout rooms with the elementary and the intermediate school teachers. I truly think it was beneficial. We did one a month and we will have that. Here we go. So that's what we did in the fall. We have a spreadsheet that we created just to keep track of everything. I also shared this link with the school board members and Dr. Pipperato and Dr. Bradley, so you can look at it as well. And even those who are viewing from home. So those are some of the sessions, what we did in the fall, specifically focusing on artificial intelligence. And if you scroll down, Mr. Santiago, thank you. You will see what we did in the fall for AI. And then you will also see what we did in the spring for our K through 12 hot topics. The K through 12 hot topics, teachers are giving one article a read related to AI a month. They were supposed to read it, reflect upon it, and then they came back and we did some breakout rooms with them virtually. And then we did a closing activity at the end of each of the professional developments. You can see by the numbers of the attendees, it was very strong. Well, maybe not in April. Can you scroll up, Louis? So it's higher numbers because we know that no one comes to anything in April. So if we see we have some higher numbers up there for participants. Thank you. But it really was well received. And we sort of just created those sessions based on teacher feedback. In the fall, it was, what is AI? As teachers started to explore it, we got more and more, what are you doing next on AI? What are we doing next on AI? So if we can go back to the presentation, that would be great. Thank you. And we can continue on. On again. And now what we are looking at for this year is our professional learning. And this is what we're sort of creating the perfect storm here with technology, curriculum, and the Educational Program and Resources Committee to sort of have some guidance where we need to go as a district to sort of serve our students in this ever-changing world. And that's the thing, it's ever-changing. So I don't ever know if we're ever going to be able to keep up with it. So if we go to the next one, thank you, Mr. Santiago. Over the summer, there were some AI policies that were board approved. This was just a snapshot that we shared with teachers at one of our professional development sessions that are some of the things that, again, this is just for consideration. We realize now that there is a lot of professional development for teachers moving forward that we need to provide, and we need guidance from all of our departments as a collective unit to sort of come up with that and have a team of teachers, preferably that, because we really have a bunch of great teachers that are using artificial intelligence, and bringing somebody from English and math and science and all those different departments, elementary, into providing that perspective would be a phenomenal thing for the district and would benefit our students. And then these are the things we're going to consider. We're just continue recognizing the risks that AI presents to us. This year, we're focusing on the more enhanced AI features that are embedded into some of the more applications that we have purchased. We started with a few. Now it seems that every product online application that we use with our students has some AI feature tied into it for teachers and students. We have the teacher side turned on most of them, I believe. But for students, again, it's the whole guidance and it's a purchase. So that's what we're looking at the cost for including, and again, student data and privacy. We're exploring AI literacy for educators and students, which we know will be huge. We're looking for guidance on protecting student data and privacy, which we have our Director of Technology, Brian Borash, here for that. And we have use of AI, of how we're just going to use it to promote equity and accessibility for our students. And I think that's really the power that most teachers recognize, that it is this tool that I can finally use to meet the needs of all my students if I need to do it. Magic School AI is created by teachers for teachers. It is a phenomenal tool that if you go on and you create an account, you will be blown away by the things that they can do. Personally, it's my favorite. I know some people like School AI because it does a lot of other things, but again, Magic School AI and Brisk for Learning also is a very powerful. So they're both powerful tools. And again, this is the one, more guidance on how we implement AI tools across different grade levels, because specifically Google will be releasing AI. Sean, do you want to explain this? Because I missed the meeting for this.
So we just had a meeting with Google last week, and our representative told us that they're coming out with a tween version, a 13 plus Google Gemini version, which of course we will have in district, but it will not be turned on until we decide to do that at that moment. But you know, the 13 plus is a funny age for us because that's in the middle of intermediate school. So, you know, how do we determine who's 13 plus and who's not? So it's probably, to start with, it would probably be a high school thing, I would think, at this point. But we don't know yet. We haven't seen it yet. At the elementary level, we really don't deal too much with the AI portion because our students don't have phones on them. Their phones are never on them. They can't get to anything on their Chromebook that has really generative AI built into it. So it's really ideal mostly with teacher use of AI.
And again, it's just, again, we're looking for that guidance because we're willing, teachers are willing. And again, it's just, how do we take technology with the curriculum again, and the school board's approval? I mean, it's a daunting task. We go to collaborative coaches meeting with the IU of other districts, and it seems that everybody is pretty much in the same boat, trying to get the guidance that we need. Pennsylvania is not one of those states that currently has anything. Seems like California.
It's interesting too, because on the college level, they encourage the AI use. I know for one of my master's level classes, the professor's like, well, why didn't you use AI? And I'm like, what? Do you want me to use AI? So they actually encourage it and they try to teach it at the collegiate level.
Right.
And a lot of these kids are, you know, not prepared because they don't use it in high school. So I think it's excellent that you guys are exploring it and giving those tween options to get them exposed to it early enough so that they know, you know, plagiarism and using and still making it your own, and how it's important to, you know, still do it yourself.
Right. Yeah. And that sort of begs the question, like, I created the prompt, I refined the prompt, I worded the prompt, I did this to the prompt, I did that to the prompt, and all the different iterations of it. And so it is mine, isn't it? So that's what some high school students have sort of not challenged teachers, but a lot of high school teachers said they've had really positive discussions with their students about AI.
That is the whole thing about academic integrity. I mean, and honesty that really has to be, you know, taught from the beginning in order to make students understand that, you know, like really what's the difference of cheating and plagiarism in terms of using, it's just, you have to use it as you would another research tool.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And then know how to use that properly, which is part of the one slide that you had up with the policy, you know, as an example. You know, with the 4 areas, the 2 areas where it needs to be documented, you know, that students have to tell teachers, you know, somehow, that it has to be, has to be disclosed and cited, that, teachers then have to be able to teach that as well.
Mhm.
So, I mean, so in truth, now that it's, kind of in policy, disclosing how it was used, particularly if we haven't opened it yet in Google, you know what I mean, as a
Correct.
district to students, but knowing today at 1 p.m. Apple released its phone that is AI, so, as soon as the high school students and whomever,
I'm sure they'll get them
purchase,
before I
that's
do.
what I'm saying,
Yep.
purchase that phone, here we go,
Right.
and we know that students are going to use research in their own computers at home, not always necessarily, what we provided, as a district. So even though we don't have AI accessible yet to students, I'm talking obviously from high school students, it's still something, based on policy alone that you definitely have to speak to, in terms of educating, teachers. And I'm going to use you and Diana, and our librarians, because you were all the ones who came into my classroom as well, when we talked about, research and teaching them all the aspects of research. This is going to be one that has to be added to that,
Yeah.
and ASAP,
Correct. 'Cause-
because we have it up there. So, I mean, I know that obviously, our curriculum directors, will work on that. And of course, we're looking for a superintendent and an assistant superintendent. So I understand when you're saying direction,
Right.
we hear you,
Okay, thank you.
and understand and very much appreciate all that you've done thus far. And really, as a new board member this past December, it hasn't even been a full year to know how much you've already done. You know what I mean? In
Right.
terms of giving this, kind of background information, if you will, to teachers and, working with teachers, optionally, as we've talked about with professional development, I think is a great start. And
And
I
I-
want to say thank you and
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
And I know there's ways that, on the collegiate level, they have you cite AI very similar to how you cite
Yeah.
a research paper. So I think, if we're going to start introducing it, it's got to be part of the curriculum as well. On how do we cite AI? What are our expectations of a student if they're going to use AI? How do you cite it properly?
Right.
So our intermediate levels include two instructional technology teachers,
Mhm.
Mrs. Hartman up north and Mr. Toth down south. And that is something that we are also going to need to look at in terms of revising their curriculum to include a strong piece in this. They do a wonderful job of the minute they get there in sixth grade, to Mr. Westcott's point, at elementary, it's more teachers, and then starting in 6 to 12, it's more students. So we'll be working with you and looking forward to it and really revising that curriculum. Almost, I mean, this will be one of those things that yearly I think we'll need to sit down and say, okay, what has changed, what needs to be added or changed in the
Yeah.
curriculum?
For sure. Excellent.
That's-
Anyone have any questions? I don't know if other board members or here? Okay, well then, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to
Appreciate
see where it goes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate all your work for
Thank you.
sure. And now we are moving on to our scoreboard presentation with the curriculum aspect. I have to tell you that I am
Intrigued.
very intrigued when I got the email from Mr. Bard saying, we're gonna put the scoreboard on your EPR agenda. Scoreboard, what does that have to do with curriculum? So you have our attention right from the get-go without even anything else. So, and thank you. I know you were holding on all this time. Appreciate that.
No, I appreciate fitting us in here tonight. I'm Joe Godry. I'm the sales rep with Daktronics for Pennsylvania. I live down in the Roarsport area, so about a 2-hour trip up there. And I'm joined tonight with Kim Petro, which handles our DAC classroom curriculum. And Kim's joining us tonight over in Scranton. So as was mentioned, Pete Bard we had been working with the athletic administration, and then now we're up to the higher administration with the school district, with scoreboards and video boards for the campuses. Just a little bit about Daktronics real quick. We're a U.S. manufacturer out of South Dakota. We're considered the world leader in audiovisual systems and sports and education, commercial and billboard channels across the country. And one of our unique benefits that we work with our partners on, with our video partners, is DAC Class. And it's a way to engage students across the school district into event production curriculum. And and it's something that, they kind of learn at the high school level and take up to the collegiate and professional levels. We're in 75% of all collegiate and professional venues across the country. So there's certainly a need for students and people, when they're going to college or coming out of college, to be able to run these production events. And so working with professional teams across the country, we put together this curriculum. And I'm going to turn it over to Kim, and Kim can kind of give an overview of it and dive into it a little bit. Kim, floor is yours.
Thank you, and hello, Kim.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on
I
today.
took studio broadcasting for a while, so I'm very curious, because I would think this is an area where it would fit in, as well as a couple of our business courses that do events in the high school and such. So looking forward to hearing it, Kim. Thank you for joining
Oh,
us.
absolutely. And I just want to put yourself in your shoes of when you first started years ago, your first time ever teaching the class. If you had some sort of resource that would help you, this is something that we are trying to help with those newer educators. I do have a small presentation, and is it possible that I would be able to share my screen?
We'll find out in the back from our tech person.
Yep, you can share.
Yep, you should be able to.
Yep, I got the option. Thank you. All right, so just let me know when my screen pops up for you.
Okay.
We got
I
it.
got it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So as Joe said, my name is Kim Petro, and I am the instructional designer behind DAC Classroom. So DAC Classroom was developed to equip educators with the necessary tools and knowledge to jumpstart event production in high schools. Recognizing the potential that video displays bring, we aim to help make the most of this investment by enhancing the classroom experience with practical skills in event production. So our mission is to empower teachers to guide their students in effectively using video displays and creating engaging game day content. By integrating these practical skills into the curriculum, we believe that we can significantly enrich the students' educational experience. So let's take a look of what DAC Classroom offers and how it can benefit both educators and students. So DAC Classroom provides educators with a comprehensive set of resources to get started with event production. And these are not just for students, but also for professional development as educators. So we're giving them the tools to take their teaching to the next level. These are the key offerings behind DAC Classroom, and I'm going to be taking the next few moments to go through each one of these. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the event production curriculum. It is really the heart of DAC Classroom. So it is instructor-led. It includes over 30 CTE-aligned lessons that is designed for a semester-long course. Students will be learning technical terminology and also gain a solid understanding of Daktronics equipment while working on projects that revolve around creating game day content. Within each lesson, typical things that can be found are lesson plans, PowerPoint presentations, guided notes, activity prompts. There's also DAC Classroom exclusive videos and online simulations. The next thing I want to talk about is expert coaching. So this membership comes with 2 consultations per year, and it can focus either on event production or on classroom experience. So whether you choose one or both in the same area, these sessions are designed to enhance those skills. Next, there's community. So we're building an exclusive platform within DAC classrooms for educators to connect, share ideas, and explore what others are doing. And it's not only going to help students see real-world applications, but it also provides a space to learn from other educators. Then there's Video Summit Access. And this is access for 2 attendees to the annual Video Summit that Daktronics hosts. And this is either in person or remote. So you have the option of either attending at a host school or visit remotely. So this is another fantastic opportunity to share what others are doing in their classrooms and learn from them. So we have Crew Connect, which Daktronics is uniquely positioned to connect students from high school to college and into professional event production. Crew Connect helps students in getting real world experience and connecting them with those who have Daktronics equipment. And this will help them also build strong resumes, portfolios, and get necessary knowledge for collegiate and professional event production. Then there is the certificate of completion. So at the end of the semester, students can be awarded with a certificate that highlights their skills in event production and to let colleges and professional levels know that they completed the DAC classroom event production curriculum. So this credential will enhance their resumes, and they will be able to get an edge over their future endeavors. And lastly, students will be able to be recognized with their hard work by participating in showcases that we want to do for a national level. And this is a way that they can submit their work for things like Best Player Headshot or Most Unique Sponsor Reel. So this is a way that they can be recognized on a national level.
Okay.
And all of these elements together are designed to support success within DAC Classroom. If you do have any questions further on this is our email address, daclassroom@daktronics.com. We also provide demos for the DAC Classroom portal. So if anybody is interested in getting a deeper look, we can provide that link to my bookings page, and I would be able to give you a one-on-one consult for that. So I want to thank you again for your time. If you have any questions now, I would be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Kim, for the presentation. Very
Absolutely.
informative. I mean, a lot of, I come from a journalistic background, and we used to do this, I mean, nationally, and, first with paper production and then in our TV studio. Is it, with the event production, you had mentioned equipment, is it specific to having your equipment to do these events? Or we already have 2 studios, TV studios set in our north and south campuses. Yeah, actually we just redid them with equipment. So is this curriculum and the whole piece something that can be used with our with the equipment we already have, or is it something that has to be specific to your equipment?
Only equipment that we would really be teaching out of this is our show control system. So there's that computer that's going to be in the control room. That is something that is installed with the video display. And everything else content-wise in creating that content. So whatever video cameras, editing software, any of that, if you have it already existing, that's something that can definitely be incorporated into this curriculum.
Okay, great.
Great, good to
Excellent.
know.
Appreciate that very much.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Heather, you have any
I
questions?
have lots of questions, but I don't think this is the forum. In terms of general questions, I'd like to talk to some people and dig a little bit deeper. Again, in intersecting with the curriculum cycle for our technology education, this would be a really good opportunity. Also appreciate the certificate of completion. Those credentials are another way in Pennsylvania that our kids can graduate if they don't want to pursue the Keystone pathway. So we're always looking for those kind of opportunities for students to show employers pre-high school graduation that they got what it takes to be employed there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Okay. Last time we spoke a while back in properties and facilities. I just want to verify once again that the software used for production is a proprietary software. Will that need to be housed on the district's servers, or will that be housed on your own servers? It's just something, and I just want to make sure that during the finance committee, that those numbers are run by them as well. I just want to make sure that they have that information, because like I said, you guys are saying, I love the program, where it fits and how it fits. That's, needs to be decided. I just want to try to know the technological end of where this will sit, where it will be housed, and how many licenses we'll need and so forth.
Is this just for DAC Classroom that you're asking about?
Or are you asking for the scoreboard aspect of
Well,
it? Being on,
it's actually both, because they both would be your software, correct?
Right,
The
so this one would
well,
be
for the-
separate. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Sorry. So then that classroom would be a web-based portal that instructors can log into. So each school will have 2 instructor logins. So if they wanted to log in on a computer, on their computer, a school computer, it can be, it lives on the web. It's not something that needs to be installed on a server.
Okay.
But the show control computer, that is something that does live on a server, and that goes into your control room. And Joe, if
Okay,
you wanted to elaborate more on that,
Well, and real quick, as for the class, for the 2, to do those modules and everything that you mentioned with all those lessons and so on, each student would need to have their own login credentials, and that would be a separate license.
It is actually instructor-led. So this is something that students don't have to log into for legal reasons. I'm sure you know, if there are 18 students younger than 18, then there's a whole legal reason for that. But this makes it easier for teachers to only be the ones to log in. So they would be able to access all of these resources, and those lesson plans and PowerPoints are downloadable so that they're able to share them on an LMS that you already use, or just distribute them to their students in class.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we'd have access to it and be able to provide it for all the students that may want to enroll within that curriculum. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
thanks, Jason. Anybody else? Deb, any questions? I think she had a log off already anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you so much for your presentations.
Thank you.
Look forward
So
to-
much. Have a good day.
Thank you, folks. Talk soon. Have a good
All right.
night.
You too. And that was our last piece of business for this evening. We've already did our motions for the finance committee and the board meeting. So our next meeting is back to our regular scheduled first Thursday of the month, October 3rd at 5:30 p.m. here in the boardroom or via Zoom. Question.
Yom Kippur. Sorry, Rosh Hashanah is October 3rd.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that something?
I won't be here.
Okay, then maybe let's change that date. We'll look into it.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yep,
All right.
absolutely.
That'll
And
be posted then.
I think we skipped public comments, but I don't think there's
Anybody
public
on? I didn't think there
on,
was.
right?
Is there
Okay.
anybody on? For public? No, I didn't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
October
Thank
3rd
you.
though is
Okay,
the first
Well-
night of Rosh Hashanah. It starts at sundown.
okay. All right, then we'll have to look at changing that. All right, and then a motion to adjourn.
Actually, no, it's the first day. Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday. Yes, motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you.
Thank you.